Now going over to question 19, here we have a quadratic in an ABC format, and the hint is this expression right here. Because for quadratics, when you see anything in the format of a number plus or minus a radical, especially if it's a number plus or minus a radical divided by something, those are hints for you to be using the quadratic formula. And this is the quadratic formula. As it says here, memorize it if you don't have it memorized already. And so let's start plugging into that. So x is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And our a is the invisible number 1. Our b is negative 2. And our c is negative 9. So negative b is negative 2. So positive 2. Plus or minus square root of negative 2 squared, well, that's 4, minus 4 times 1, which we don't need to write, times negative 9. And we don't need to write the 1 because when you multiply by 1, nothing happens. All over 2 times the 1, which we won't write. So that's 2 plus or minus square root of 4. And now negative 4 times negative 9, that's positive 36. All over 2. By the way, most of the mistakes in the quadratic formula have to do with forgetting to get a single number with a single sign right there. So that's the really important part there. Now, 4 plus 36, well, that's 40. So 2 plus and minus square root of 40 all over 2. Let's give ourselves a little more space here. And now let's talk about simplifying this radical here. Well, we have square root of 40, which is really the square root of 4 times 10. So 2 times 2, that's 4, and 2 times 5, that's 10. A square root, and there's an invisible number 2 right here. And what it really means is that we're looking for groups of 2. For instance, if I say the square root of 25 is 5, I'm saying that there are 2 numbers, 5 times 5, that multiply to give you 25. So we're looking for groups of 2. Wherever you see one, you can take it out and put a single one of them on the outside. So instead of 2 times 2 times 2 times 5, this is 2 on the outside, square root of 2 times 5, which is left underneath, which is really 10. Now, by the way, one more way to do that is to look for perfect squares. So if we had square root of 40, we can say, well, there's a perfect square factor there, which is 4 times 10. And so we can take the square root of the 4, because square root of 4 is 2. But there's nothing you can do with the 10, so it stays underneath. So there are 2 ways to simplify a radical. So either way, it's 2 root 10. So let's rewrite this. We'll have 2 plus and minus 2 root 10 all over 2. And now we have a common factor throughout. We have 1, 2, 3 terms. They all have a factor of 2. So we can divide them all by 2. So divide this one by 2, divide this one by 2, and divide the 2 on the bottom by 2, and we'll get 1. So that's 1 plus or minus root 10. Now look what they told us. They said this was 1 plus root k. So we definitely have the plus. We have plus and minus. And what's the k? Well, it's 10 there. So the answer here is B.